There is a problem in our world, one that touches almost every human who has access to technology. Our brains are full. We are amazing creatures capable of so much. We are engineers, carpenters, builders, painters, sculptors, caregivers, and so much more. Our big, beautiful brains have allowed us to curate our world, reduce disease, and increase our lifespans. We now live in a golden age built on the shoulders of technology. Smartphones, television, interconnected software, and the internet. A globe connected like never before. We are set up to be the best version of ourselves, and yet something isn't right. We don't feel like the best version of ourselves. We feel like we haven't achieved anything in our spare time. Those creative outlets go untouched, our dreams fade. The same technology that can enable us is making us sick. To understand what got us to this state, we need to go back in time, way back to 1994. This was a turning point in our civilization. Generations from millennials and older grew up in a time before the internet was widely adopted, before smartphones, before computers and laptops were common household items. We lived in a world of televisions before flat screens, cassette tapes and Walkmans, VHS home movies, live TV that forced us as a nation to watch the same TV shows at the same time. Cinemas were booming, books as common forms of entertainment, the newspaper a daily purchase. It was even a time when cell phones were not common. If you were not near your home or work phone, you weren't getting reached. If the kids went out, you hoped they came home. Every kid had a bike and we rushed to go out and play after school. This was the final year things seemed normal. And sometimes you were bored. When the calendar flipped over to 1995, it was the beginning of everything changing. Microsoft released Windows 95, along with its easy-to-use interface and widespread adoption through multiple PC manufacturers, flooding homes with desktop computers. It came bundled with what would usher in the great expansion of the World Wide Web, Internet Explorer. Suddenly, we became more connected than we ever had before, across our towns and cities, across our countries, and across the globe. We gained access to information at our fingertips, communities of people who did things like us, blogs, torrenting, piracy of videos and music became pervasive. IRC, MSN Messenger, and ICQ became the early form of direct messaging. Suddenly, our music libraries were bursting. Our Walkmans, Discmans, mini-disc players, and home stereos couldn't keep up. The MP3 became a household name. And just as the market was becoming flooded with clunky and bulky MP3 players, the iPod revolution took off. 1,000 songs in your pocket. White corded earphones were a status symbol. I can afford an iPod. Now there would never be a moment where there wasn't a soundtrack to your life. Boredom just got a little bit better, a little sweeter. But carrying a laptop, a music player, a digital camera, books, magazines, a video camera, it all just weighed so much. If only there was a way for us to have this in a single device, something truly convenient, something beautiful. We had no idea what we were asking for. The iPhone. With it, the smartphone became the ubiquitous piece of computing almost every adult and child uses every day. It is our symbiote. Without it, we feel like a limb has been amputated. It connects us, enables us, entertains us, and can be a creative outlet. We carry more computing power in our pockets than was used to send astronauts to the moon. But this convenience began to change. The same technology that connected us allowed us to manage our lives with apps that entertained us. Soon it began to feed our minds. Technology companies learn that humans are programmable. We can be conditioned and controlled. These patterns are used to influence us into engaging with apps for as long as possible. At first, this happened slowly, and then our decline accelerated. One of the most notable examples of this is infinite scroll. Now we no longer need to page through our feeds. Just keep scrolling and there will be more content to feed you. Soon algorithms learned how to feed you more of what you like, what turns you on, what keeps you staring at their app for hours and hours. When engagement replaced revenue as a driving metric for business, we turned into addicts. Now we live our lives hypnotized by our phones. In the truest sense, we are chasing the endless content dragon deeper and deeper. Our eyes are the funnel where content is jammed into our brains. It fills every waking hour of our day. And the reason you haven't written or painted, crafted something, or truly learned something in years is because your brain has been filled with slush. Cheap, skin deep content to keep you scrolling and scrolling. Content that increasingly pushes us apart, makes us feel bad about our lives, and tempts us. This is not the future we signed up for. This is not the future we were promised. Burnout and loneliness are on the rise. They are the new cancer, the new pandemic brewing behind the screens of our smartphones. But there is a way to start taking control, to healing this problem. Little by little, living a more low-tech life. This doesn't have to mean a life without a smartphone or a computer, but we can choose what apps we use, how often we pick up our phones. We can have hobbies that don't involve the use of devices. We can learn new skills, make things, dance, exercise. There is no need to be perfect, but avoiding addictive apps can help you heal your brain and leave space to do more than endless scrolling. Don't let the tool make you a tool. Start today. Feed your brain something good. Read a book. Write a book. Draw something. Go for a walk. Play with the kids or your dogs. Join a club. Listen to a talk. Dance. There is hope. We are in uncharted times. Never have we had such amazing technology. And maybe we are just on the cusp of learning how to use it for good.